Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show of Mahou Touki Lysteria Part 2. So, in this part 2 is actually more interesting, and we're getting to know about these Hameldar creatures even more. So, apparently, these creatures are energies where they're like energy stealing beings that are shaped like humanoids. They're shaped like humans, but they're actually humanoid creatures that steals energy from these for our two heroes. Now, here's the whole thing. Himeya, which is also known as Frostia, she's been captured by these Hameldars, and she's basically in an unknown location, what it looks like a warehouse. And Rin feels very terrible about the fact that this whole thing happened because of her. Now, the spirit, which is me, she appears and tells her, hey, don't blame yourself because it's inevitable. It would have happened regardless if you were there or not. So you had just had to rescue her. And she made a vow, and Rin made a vow that she would rescue Himeya no matter the cost. So, in this scene, so as you guys can see in this scene, she's looking for me, and me appears like basically like a magical creature because she's from the spirit world, and it is her duty to recruit as many magical battle maidens as possible, and she so far got two. However, she cannot like materialize it herself too much because she wants to conserve energy, and also she advises how basically these Hameldars are and what do they do to these women. And she basically explains to her that listen, these creatures, while yes you may receive some mana, you will exchange energies, because remember that while yes they may penetrate you and may give you the mana, that the energy source that you need to activate your alt, your body will become a burden. It will become a burden to your body, so you got to be careful. And also these Hameldar creatures also attacks in the night, and this is why you will feel like a sudden urge that your body feels heavy and you can't really move as much after that physical session, let's just say that physical confrontation. And this is what these purpose of these creatures are. Now the location really and truly is very unknown, which is, I don't know, again, this is weird, but anyways, this enter this next scene. This is where she gets to confront, and it's already nighttime. And me warns them, "Hey, the creatures have appeared again. You need to go down at the town center. That's where they at." And then in this scene also we get to see a little bit of fighting, which is awesome, by the way. So me tells her, listen, the Hameldars have appeared, go down to the town center and fight them immediately. So she ended up transforming from her home and ended up going to the town center where she confronts the three Hameldars right now, as you guys can see here. And she says, well, before she even gets to interrogate them, the creatures are already on the prowl, like literally. Look at these creatures, like they're looking crazy, and they're about to fight again, and she ended up managing to defeat these guys in one literal punch. That's just crazy. And she named it the Lure Smash, and she smashed all three of them. However, there's one more, because that one more grunt ended up running away. But here's the thing, while she thinking she was chasing him down to interrogate him, she actually walked into a trap. Mind you, he looks like he's in distress. Well, it looks like it's in distress, but in reality it was a trap. So this is where things get really heated, and she ended up going through the session. Now the only thing that kind of annoyed me, and if I'm gonna be completely real with y'all, is the repetition of the same alt. But she uses the alert tornado, and it's almost the same sequence as the first episode, so that's why it kind of annoyed me. But nonetheless, the fights are awesome, the fighting scenes were great, and this is where we get to see they actually jumped her again, because again she was ambushed by three others from behind and one from the front. So of course they break her shield for the second time, and she was like very much surrounded by these guys, and they ended up giving her the mana that she needs. However, after this one, it really started to burden her, because and she can only take so much mana, because again, as good as it is, she takes mana from these guys, from these energy vampires, she can also feel the weight of her body. So this is where we get to see at least one of the bases that she was able to find these guys in. So she ended up confronting the guys, well, three more, but these ones look a bit more stronger than usual, because either that or her shield has weakened, because She did stated that her shield has been weakened after the last fight. So we get to meet these, like they look like higher levels than the ones that we saw in the first episode. These ones look a bit stronger, but she said, regardless, I made a vow, I'm gonna rescue my friend. Now, these guys are shaking in their boots because they realize how powerful these magical battle maidens actually are, and there's no way that they could do something about it, well, anything about it. And Captain, which is the one in red, tells them just get the girl and just beat her up to a pulp. So they ended up jumping her again, but this time her shield was broken. So much so to the point where she can no longer uses the shield, and it's actually depleting her energy, which is also affects her in many ways in a negative way possible. So that is it for this part 2. I'm not gonna lie, this part 2 has been actually great. There's a part 3 and 4 which I'm gonna work on, which I'm actually working on and I'm gonna post very soon. Now in the last scene, which I'm not gonna be able to show, Himeya, also known as Frostia, is naked in a warehouse where she was captive. Now she's trying to escape, but she can't use me because whatever these Hameldar creatures have probably have like a veil. I'm not sure if it's called a veil, or she can't use her magic to transform and get it over with because she's actually the strongest in the team. Lysteria or Lilustear is a newcomer, and she's trying to learn her capabilities and abilities to make sure that she saves the world from these creatures. But anyways, I think this was great. I'm not gonna rate this show overall because I rather do it overall rather than just episodes. But based on the animation, it's pretty clean. The fight scenes are awesome, and thank you for recommending me this. I actually took the time to watch this, and I was like, damn, this is some Sailor Moon Powerpuff Girls type shit because I really do enjoy the fight scenes. I'm not really too keen on the other scenes, but hey, the fight scenes are great. The sequence, although a bit redundant, but nonetheless, pretty good. I can't wait to see what episode 3 and 4 has in store for us. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, have a good one and peace out and enjoy the rest of the gameplay. Oh, and by the way, I think I'm actually coming up with a new series after this. I might be doing the second one on the list. I'm not gonna lie, that person gave me a long list of sources to review. Again, some of which I can recognize, but most of them I don't. So this is a first for me. But anyways, have a good weekend, folks, and enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one. Peace out.